Okay, everyone, welcome to the Brothers and Boss Battles Brodown episode. Today, Twisted Metal Black, Star Fox 64, and Simpsons Road Rage are going up against each other. Who will come out on top? All right, everyone, in this Brodown episode, we will have our courtroom style debate where we each will defend the game that we chose for this particular genre. And again, that genre is non-racing vehicle games. The way this will work is based on the arguments that we've made throughout these episodes. We'll rank the games individually to come up with a consensus and declare a winner. Just for those that want to hear our unbiased opinions of these games, go back to the prior 3 mainline Brothers and Boss Battles, a video game showdown episodes to get our unvarnished opinions of Simpsons Road Rage, Twisted Metal Black, and Star Fox 64. All right, guys. I guess we should start off by telling everyone who is defending which game.
Pete here. I'll be defending Simpsons Road Rage.
Ouch.
Order.
I'm going to be putting a hurt on you guys with my arguments.
I'm going to be defending Star Fox 64.
Now, Anthony will be defending Twisted Metal Black.
I'll start. I feel like Twisted Metal Black, that was kind of the last good game in the series. Star Fox 64 also feel like that is the culmination of the series. But Simpsons Road Rage served as the spiritual predecessor, I think that's the term, to some might argue the best game made in 2003, Simpsons Hit and Run. And it's a game that's also considered by pretty much everyone on the face of the planet as the greatest Simpsons game ever made. And, at least partly that's due to Simpsons Road Rage. So I think it's the effect on the gaming community is top notch.
So you're saying that because the other
I'm
games
saying
are
it
in
led
better
to-
series that you should win. The Simpsons
No.
Road Rage.
I'm saying it led to something really amazing
Simpsons
by
Hit and
being
Run?
amazing itself. Yes.
Nah, we went through this already.
We're not here to argue how bad
Okay.
Simpsons Hit and Run is.
Yeah, but you have to acknowledge that. I mean, this is a road rage argument, not a hit and run argument, but you have to acknowledge that your guy's opinion of hit and run is not the opinion of most other critics and gamers.
Outside the mainstream.
I truly think that if people replayed the game, they would
But
not
people
have the
did-
same opinion.
People did play it in 2003 and they loved it. That's how their opinions formed, by playing the game.
I don't know.
I don't know. Your
Maybe-
argument is
maybe
I
it
didn't
was-
like it, so no one
well,
could like it.
No, that's not my argument. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think a lot of people would be surprised if they went back and played that game at how bad it is.
And I also just think that
logic, it means that no one can ever have an opinion about an old game.
No, I'm just saying with that particular game, I think that they will be surprised if they go back and replay it. That's all.
yeah, he's not saying all old games
We've
don't hold
covered
up.
plenty of old games.
But we had to go back and play it to verify that it was good or not.
Yeah, and with Simpsons Hit and Run, we did just that and verified that it was not good.
We're the only 3 people in the world that ever went back and played
No,
Simpsons Hit
I'm
and
not
Run,
saying that.
apparently.
I'm just saying that I think a lot of people would be surprised. That's all.
But even if they were to go back and play Hit and Run, oh sorry, we keep saying that Road Rage, and like it, or Hit and Run and like it, whatever your point is, I think if people went back and played Star Fox 64, they would like that even more. And I think if they went back and played Twisted Metal Black, they would like that the best out of these 3.
All right.
But Twisted Metal Black didn't lead to anything. It was a good game. I mean, all 3 of these games are good. But Twisted Metal Black didn't lead to something even better. And either did Star Fox 64.
I think Star Fox 64 did lead to better things. So first of all, it was the first game on the N64 to use the Rumble Pack, so that kind of paved the way to player feedback via the controller for the rest of the games on the N64. So that's a big deal. And also, without Star Fox 64, you probably don't have a big Star Fox presence in the Super Smash Bros. Games.
Nice. I knew you were going there.
And
Okay, you won this argument.
and
You
those Star
won.
Fox, thank you. And those Star Fox characters are some of the most beloved characters in this Super Smash Bros. Series.
Yeah,
To
I
the
mean, I
point
think
where they like cloned Fox like 3 times with Falco
yeah.
and Wolf just to get as many Star Fox characters in as possible.
I will say this is sort of a unique and somewhat odd category to start off with, Pete, that you started off with. But if we're going with like, I actually think it cuts against your argument. Like, Simpsons Road Rage is good because of, you know, 20 years or 10 years plus of The Simpsons existing. Like, Star Fox, not to defend like Star Fox as well, but like Star Fox, like you said, led to those Super Smash Brothers characters, and like probably that game is what did it. And Twisted Metal led to like a TV show about it. So like our games and my game in particular led to other media and other things because they were good, whereas yours just kind of leached off the fact that it was a Simpsons game. I mean, that game as not a Simpsons game would have been very boring and would have critiqued even worse than it did.
No, I don't think so. I'll talk about that a little later, but I think that's pretty wrong.
I just
Yeah, I
think,
mean, so maybe you want to say a little more creative IP or something, sure, but in
you
terms
know,
of
I
video
think,
games,
yeah, I don't know. I think a core thing with gaming though is, that the controls are good, that the game is fun. Uh, we mentioned how just like some of the physics and road rages were pretty bad, and some of the controls, some of the cars felt sloppy. With Twisted Metal, it was very tight. It's very action packed. So I think as far as gameplay is concerned, it's you have that fun element, but you're also going traversing different levels. You have choices of some levels. You have a bunch of different cars. They all play differently, which is a big difference between talking about the vehicles themselves. Obviously, road rage, which we commented in the episode about that, how there's like 16 different cars, but maybe two or three different varieties that's at least seem obvious. And then with Star
yeah, but
Fox,
that's I have to say that's similar to Twisted Metal as well.
I don't think
A
so.
couple of the faster cars, it's hard to discern between them, and
Fine,
likewise,
but you have very definitive like tanky vehicles that are
yeah,
slow and
exactly,
fast vehicles that are
exactly.
Yeah, you
yeah,
have
but you could have a
categories of
You have
vehicle.
categories just like in
yeah, but
Simpsons
you could
Road
have a
Rage.
fast vehicle that has a good special and then maybe a slightly faster car that has a worse special. And I don't know. I just felt like even the differences that weren't as major were still significant enough to make them different. And
But
and
something you kind of gloss over really quickly because I think it's a point against Twisted Metal use was about the controls. I mean, we made a point about it on the episode that the controls were kind of weird and wonky, especially the default control scheme that they set you off with.
yeah, I mean, I think they're tight. I do think that the button configuration may have been a little lacking, but I
No button configuration was lacking more than in Star Fox when to hover you had to at least on the Switch
on the Switch, yeah,
On the
it's hard
you
to
had to
Switch,
press like
judge.
L2 and R1 or something.
I,
That was
that's just
awkward.
that's playing on the Switch. If you play it on its intended console, you wouldn't run into any issues like that.
Yeah, but
the only problem with that is that if people are going to go back and play it now, it's going to be on the Switch.
yeah,
So,
like
so the port should
99
have
out of
been better.
100
Yeah,
of our fans are going to be playing it on the Switch.
100 fans.
thank you,
Like
100 fans.
99 out of every 100.
um,
So we've obviously moved more into I don't know, control slash
Gameplay.
character slash.
Everything.
But I mean, and you were talking about the different cars. I mean,
Yeah, I
Road
mean,
Rage
look,
has more than Twisted Metal does.
it does, but they're very similar. And Star Fox, you're either in the R Wing or you have that one level where you're in the Land Rover. So I mean,
Two
you have
levels,
two.
actually.
What?
2 levels. You playing the Landmaster.
A Landmaster, sorry.
And there's also
And
the submarine, which I think is in a level you didn't get to.
yeah, it was. But I mean, they all technically, I mean, they really play the same. One's on, it's really one's in the air, one's in the sky, and sorry,
I
one's in the
mean,
sky, one's on the earth, and one's on the water.
there's some differences, like with the defensive maneuvers you got to pull off for each one.
Yeah, since we're talking about the different cars or different vehicles, if we want to move on to the different characters, so I like the characters in all three of these games actually. So it's hard to say one is necessarily better than the other, except the fact that I guess if you like the characters in all the games, the game with the most characters is probably the best, and that was Road Rage. They had the most playable characters, not to mention all the kind of extra characters that you could pick up and interact with.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of characters. I mean, it's Simpsons characters. It's a show that we've
Good,
all
not
loved.
just a lot of characters, but a lot of good characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a show we all loved. I'm not gonna poo-poo the Simpsons characters just to win an argument here. But I mean, as far as the video game is concerned, I mean, they were there. They made some funny lines.
That you
Um,
heard over and over and over
yeah,
and over again.
Yeah,
yeah,
and they were, their destinations that they wanted to go to. It made sense. It wasn't that they would just had some random funny lines. It was all
eh,
kind of integrated together into a cohesive Simpsons experience.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's fine. But I mean, look, Twisted Metal Black really went above and beyond as far as writing stories for each of these characters, made it very dark and twisted, since we're talking Twisted Metal Black. Um, it was unique because it was dark and like all the characters were dark, but you obviously wanted to win and you came to, know and love the characters that you were controlling and wanted to just you know, win all of the matches, get rid of everyone so that you could be the last vehicle or person standing. And then what was really interesting is just like how that affected the story. Like you had an incentive to play beyond just winning in a video game, but you wanted to kind of see how these stories of these characters played out because they were a little weird and dark, and that made for a fun experience, and it really makes you want to keep going even though the levels are the same and you're facing the same enemies, there's a good number of levels, B, a good number of characters. But just wanting to learn those stories was, what kind of pushed you forward. I mean, and we all commented that Simpsons Road Rage, you kind of just it really became so repetitive that it was almost impossible to want to finish that game.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about stories, the Simpsons Road Rage is a different kind of game. It's an arcade game, so
Say the line, say the line.
plus, I mean, if I want a story, I'll read a book. I'm not going to go, well, let me go. I want to play a video game. Let me select it based on the one with the best story.
Ding, ding, ding. There it is.
But some people don't like to read books, so it's nice to have a story that you could
Uh,
consume in a kind of media that you actually enjoy.
no, I agree. It's like, it's a nice to have, on a grading scale of 0 to 100. You might get an extra point or two for the good story.
Anyway, the characters in Star Fox have become so iconic that they're the most popular ones in Super Smash Bros. No. And they are, but
What makes them iconic, though? We're not talking about Mario.
Tom's asking GPT. It's Chat GPT what makes them iconic.
they're iconic because they've, become such big parts of the Nintendo universe. We've even talked about it previously that it would be cool if they were in kind of like this Nintendo movie realm that they're exploring now. If they made like a Star Fox movie. So, but yeah, and just like the game did a good job of creating kind of like a backstory, like motivation for the characters. It's not just like, oh, there's this evil guy, you gotta go stop him, like
I mean, essentially was that, but
no, but they made it deeper by putting context around like you know Andros's history and the whole thing with Fox's father and his team being betrayed by someone who's now in the rival Star Wolf team. So there was a lot there, in terms of story and characters, and their original characters. They're not from a TV show.
that's true. Yeah, that game, well, like we said, it wasn't a complete ripoff of a popular game with Simpsons characters slapped onto it.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because
I did.
anybody, and this is what I was referring to earlier about the game being good. Anybody, about our age knows and loves Crazy Taxi. And we discussed this on the episode. The Simpsons Road Rage basically took Crazy Taxi, copied it, and had a few added things to make it a little better. So it's Crazy Taxi.
I don't
It
think
wasn't
that's what we
better.
agreed on.
It wasn't better. It was worse in every technical way. It just had the Simpsons in it, which is a little cooler. But I mean,
No, yeah, the Simpsons characters and the number of characters, and then, just driving around Springfield and all that stuff. That was great, of course, but there were more maps, and even if you count only the ones that you liked, there's still more maps in Road Rage than there is in Crazy Taxi. They added the mini map. They had the bonus goals of destroying stuff or avoiding the traffic. They had the buses and Mr. Burns trying to interfere with you. Then they added the mission mode, which we all played, enjoyed, and they had this head-to-head multiplayer as well. So they
Enjoy
took. I enjoyed mission mode.
well, Twisted Metal
Anyway,
Black had multiplayer as well. If we're gonna go there,
that's
and
true.
So did Star Fox 64.
I mean, Twisted Metal Black built on the prior games. Speaking of building on the prior games, the Twisted Metal Black built on it and really made a masterpiece of a game with that one, both with story, gameplay, button configuration could have been a little bit better, but just the gameplay of it, the uniqueness of the cars, the difference of the cars, just good stuff.
No, it was, yeah, but they made games that weren't so great, and like previous Twisted Metals, and made a good game. I'll give them that for Twisted Metal Black. But
But not as
what I'm saying, what Road Rage did is take a game that was already great and made improvements on it by adding features.
The original Star Fox is regarded as one of the best Super Nintendo games ever made. And Star Fox 64 is regarded as one of the best Nintendo 64 games ever made.
And Simpsons Hit and Run is one of the best Simpsons games ever made.
sadly, that might be true.
But maybe those people that like the original Star Fox need to go back and play it, though, before we could count their opinions.
Oh, using his argument against
Maybe they should. I don't know. I never played it, so I can't speak to it.
Except that's the whole point. Well, not the whole part, but part of your argument.
No, but
Yeah,
my argument was that people who did play it will be surprised if they go back and play it. They'll be surprised
I'm saying
at how bad it is.
your argument about the original Star Fox being great and Star Fox 64 basically built on that great game to make another great game.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so Star Fox and Simpsons tied in this category.
we kind of like came back to that effect on the gaming world slash what was it, a good sequel? Was it the predecessor of anything? But I think we need to talk a little bit more about gameplay, just the games themselves. I'm not talking about like your controller does this or whatever, but just like the concept of the games. Twisted Metal Black was so unique. You're kind of in this arena, but before these online arena games became popular years before that, you had this game and you're in an arena with a bunch of cars. with missiles and machine guns and all of these other upgrades that you could get. You know, bulldozing houses and buildings while you're trying to, fight to the death these other cars. And it was just so unique, and it was challenging yet possible. Whereas, like, if you beat a level, you could save and then start at the next level. But beating each level was tough. So it wasn't, it was a great mix that way, where you didn't have to beat the whole game in, with 3 lives, but still might be going back to levels that you've gone to before. Um, you know, Star Fox 64 is very short. It's a very short run to get through the regular portion of that game, and it's relatively easy, especially on the Switch. I almost said the Twitch in my head, but the Switch.
Well, it's easy if you just do the bare minimum and go through the easy path. Then it's easy, sure, but there's so much more to the game that you actually have to, you know, demonstrate a little bit of skill to get to those harder levels. And, then it's much more difficult and more challenging, but fun. Now with, it's hard to, I mean, you can't really compare these games gameplay wise because they're all so vastly different. But, I don't know, like what you said with Twisted Metal Black, you play through with one character, and then you beat Minion and you beat Warhawk, and then you're just going back and doing the same thing with another character.
Yeah, but your gameplay is completely different. If you're playing with like Warthog with complete tank slow versus Mr. Grimm, you're gonna be playing differently. You have to, otherwise you won't be able to win. And I
Yeah, but
think
you're still
that's what
doing
makes
the
it.
same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yes, what you're generally doing is the same thing. But in Star Fox, every level you're shooting stuff. So I mean, it's like, and then you face a boss
But
at
you
the
have
end of it.
different goals. Yeah. Well, there are the boss battles,
Ding, 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 ding.
which are different. But then also, like, there's one of the levels you had to, like, what was it? Like, there was, like, a thing in the center of the area. It was in the all range mode.
Yeah, you had to like
Yeah,
break that
yeah, you have
thing
to,
in the
like,
middle.
there are different things to do. It's not just shooting down enemies.
Yeah,
So the point,
fine. But yeah, go ahead, Pete.
no, the point you made about how it plays differently if you're Mr. Grimm or Warthog, that's same case for Road Rage. Like if you're a
Not really.
book burning mobile or
No,
Professor Frink, they play so different.
that not nearly as much as Twisted Metal Black. I mean, I think anyone who would play that game would
Why?
understand.
I mean, okay,
The
their
cars are
specials
much
different.
different. Yeah, the specials are
That's
different.
the one thing.
No, but
All
how
the
you
other items
play
you're
is
getting are
different.
exactly the same.
You
The
can't
location.
get you can't get into like a slugfest as Mr. Grimm. You have to dip, dive, dodge, dip and dodge. But you have to, go in and out and wait till your weapons recharge and do a little bit of damage and spurts and then leave and then so forth.
That's the same
Whereas
thing with Road Rage,
no,
where you might have to weave in and out of traffic. Whereas if you're the bigger car, you'll just bulldoze over the traffic.
yeah, I mean if the physics were good, that might be, you know, what you could do.
And another thing you said was that the game was unique. I mean, there are a few other car combat games like Carmageddon.
Right.
Like,
Cell
There's
damage.
there's
yeah,
also other Simpsons Road Rage games like Crazy Taxi.
exactly. You one and only one. Uh, so if you're talking about unique games, Road Rage is
A
the
direct,
creme de la creme.
but it's a complete copy. I mean, Twisted Metal Black.
You
Yeah,
might
but
even
there's
call it a
only one other
ripoff.
game. There's only one other game like it in the history of
Video game.
video games.
Anything, Tom, from you on this point?
I think I said my piece already. Um, I mean, what are we talking about? Uniqueness?
Well, gameplay and stuff.
Well, yeah, the gameplay. I mean, Star Fox had a revolutionary branching progression system that rewarded player skill and creative exploration. No one else has that, so
Twisted Metal does because you can unlock characters by creative exploration.
And play different levels. You did have choices on some levels, so
yeah, paper or plastic.
every time every time you played Road Rage, you had a choice of what map you wanted to play on.
Yeah. 6 maps, 3 decent ones. So you had one of 3.
I'll also say Simpsons Road Rage was the by far the funniest game. No, but in all seriousness,
Good one.
a lot of times when you play games, you want to just have a fun, enjoyable, light experience. Then you play a game and you're not especially stressed after playing it, right? That we all have stressful lives. We want to unwind. Simpsons Road Rage provided that fun, light experience.
Yeah. When I'm like rushing to get to the last you know, drop off point with they've given me 3 seconds for and it's halfway across the map. Very stressless. Yeah, but that stress, that difficulty makes it more rewarding when you actually win. That's what's great about Twisted Metal Black. Like it like I don't know, there's so much more than just playing. Like you have to learn the maps, so there's memorization involved, and you learn where weapons and health items are. So there's all of that, and then there's just getting used to your car and how do you strategize whether you're a fast car or a medium like ranged car and what's your special and all of that. So just a lot towards that gameplay feature.
Yeah, but Road Rage does have a lot of that. Memorizing the maps was an important part of getting good scores. And again, like the cars did play different. And yeah, not all 17 cars or whatever felt different, but there were groups. And that's similar to Twisted Metal, where it's more of groupings. It's not every single character played completely different. So, Road Rage had a lot of that as well.
All right. Before we continue with this Brodown, let's do our answers to last week's mid-episode filler Would You Rather question, where we discussed Simpsons Road Rage. All right, in last week's Would You Rather mid-episode filler, we asked regarding Simpsons Road Rage, specifically which type of genre would you like to see The Simpsons in vein of a big game in that genre. So we talked a lot about how Simpsons Road Rage was a complete rip-off of Crazy Taxi. So we asked, what kind of game would you like to see The Simpsons in? And the options were an RPG, like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a kart racer game, like Mario Kart World, or an online PvP shooter like Marvel Rivals. We'd like to give you our opinions. I'll let the floor to my brothers to start this one off.
I'll go first. All right, these are some good options here. I think that the team-based PvP shooter like Marvel Rivals would be really cool, but the problem with that is those like live service games need constant updates, and the idea of a game like that is that it's gonna be around for many years and get constant updates from the development team. Now I can't see a Simpsons game having that type of longevity or continued interest amongst the gaming community at large. So while I think it would be cool, I don't think it would be very successful. And then the kart racer, another one of those you already have. Mario, and I think Kirby has one now, and Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, not that. So I'm going with the turn-based RPG. I think it could be cool. Kind of like a little bit like South Park RPGs, that one of which we talked about last year. Go check out that episode.
All right, so we got one for a Clair Obscur like RPG. Pete, what do you say?
Well, first, I don't really agree with the fact that The Simpsons can provide longevity. I mean, with things like Marvel can, which I feel like people are also experiencing superhero fatigue, and it's not as popular as it once was. But anyway, my choice would be the ripoff of Mario Kart World. I don't know. I feel like those kart racers are always a lot of fun, and I think The Simpsons lends itself well to that type of game. Like, I can imagine some Duff Beer item being used, like a Truckosaurus stage hazard. Maybe you unlock Poochie the Rockin' Dog. I don't know. I think it really would work well The Simpsons would work well in a kart racer.
And to spoil it early on, I am going to create a three-way tie here because I think the most fun would be to have a Simpsons-based PvP shooter. Those games are pretty fun in general. We've seen with Marvel Rivals that when you add a very iconic IP to that type of game, that it could be a lot of fun. And I just think, something with The Simpsons could be a slightly more cartoony version of that with, Krusty with, his extendo glove or Frank with some weird scientific projectiles as a weapon. I think it would be really, really fun. And I agree with Tom as far as we don't need another kart racer. The RPG is hit or miss. Probably would be my second choice, but I already got those good South Park games. I don't know that we necessarily need a Simpsons RPG. Again, I just think the amount of characters that are in Simpsons really lends itself to building out a really good roster of playable characters with unique abilities for a PvP shooter. So there you go. No resolution, but we hope you enjoyed the question. Let us know what you think in the comments. You could catch us on X and Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at Bros Boss Battles. That's BROS Boss Battles. And our website, brothersandbossbattles.com. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. And now, back to our regular episode. All right. We're in the middle of our Brodown of non-racing vehicle game category. One thing that I think we need to talk about is the sound and music in these games and how they can compare. I'll go first. With regard to Twisted Metal Black, we had commented in the episode, and it's certainly true that they had a good array of eerie, spooky music in some levels, was very ethereal. Other levels that were more rockin', kind of like a heavy metal vibe to it, but certainly a little bit different, a little bit more orchestral in other situations. There was voice acting in it in the kind of like the comic cutscenes that were involved. That acting was good. The writing was creepy, but made well for that game. I think it really shined or shone in this game. So I just wanted to point that out as a point for Twisted Metal Black.
I think to say the voice acting was, I don't know what word you used, but I think you imply that it was very good. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. And the music, I mean, it fit the game, but it was, I don't think it was outstanding in any way. Now, Star Fox, on the other hand, the music I think was outstanding. But it had really epic soundtrack, orchestral scores, really made, push. I think it really pushed the N64, to its limits to get such a good soundtrack. And also, like we mentioned, it was one of the first or the first games to use voice actors for the N64.
I'd say one of the first.
I don't know that we have an official sort of tally on that, but
yeah. But so one of the first games to include voice acting, and just another notch on its belt. Another feather in its cap to show how what a trailblazing game it was.
Another cool thing about Star Fox 64 was that the voice acting was actually in the game, while you were playing. It wasn't just in cutscenes. And that's also true of Simpsons Road Rage. Whereas in Twisted Metal Black, there was nothing. None of that going on while you were playing.
There were screams when you would blow up a car.
Well, there was Scream that was just repeated for...
not
And,
to defend Twisted Metal Black, but when you're playing Preacher and you use a special, the
uh,
suicide bomber goes, repent.
Yeah, true.
But other than
good
that,
point.
yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
No, it's not really. I'm not a saving grace at all for it.
Yeah. And The Simpsons, I mean, they had all the actors who voice the characters in the, actual cartoon in the actual episodes, which is incredible. And, just that Simpsons music and sounds and lines and quips and all that. Like they really did it well. It really felt like The Simpsons. And so if you could make it feel like The Simpsons, then it's a pretty darn good product.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's it can't be argued against that. It's cool that they got the original voice actors to do all the lines. I will say that a lot of the lines were repeated quite heavily. Even in just a singular run, you'll hear your driver's lines like you know several times. Over the course of whatever it is, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah, they kind of limited what they had them say. Like it was cool. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that, but there weren't a ton of lines.
How many times do you have to hear Lisa say, "Don't sit on my handheld"?
Yeah, it got repetitive, but there were a lot of lines. I mean, maybe each car had
No, there weren't a lot of lines.
maybe each car had, 5 to 10 lines that they would say when they pick somebody up. So, if you're picking up 7 or 8 people in a run, you're probably going to hear something repeated. But, multiply that 5 to 10 by the 17 playable characters, and not to mention all the other scenarios where lines were said, when you drop someone off with a good time or a bad time, or, if you run someone over and someone says something, so there really is a ton of lines, but I'll grant you that, if you're playing for 20 minutes, you're going to hear some good repeats.
What about if you're playing a medium amount of, if you have a medium run? They actually did have different like responses if you got the
Yeah,
average score too.
yeah, yeah. But the thing about it is, it's The Simpsons. You know how you could watch a Simpsons episode a million times and it's still funny? You could
Yeah,
hear the same line a million times and it's still funny.
Yeah, just in the same run like that, that was a bit much. And what's funnier, the Simpsons lines or Slippy going, "Fox, get him off my tail"?
or do a barrel.
Yeah.
Tough call.
Yeah, then when Falco calls you Einstein when you shoot
Yeah, that's
him,
funny. Yeah.
I mean, good lines there. Yeah,
Another thing I wanted to bring up, because I couldn't bring it up in the Road Rage episode, is that there was this interview I came across on the internet by Sydney Sweeney, and she said Road Rage was her favorite game growing up. So I feel like if it's good enough for Sydney Sweeney, it's good enough for all of us.
That is funny. Very random, actually.
Yeah, I guess she said she played with her brother, and like she said that Simpsons game that was racing, actually, which we disagree with here. But
Yes, yes. No
and
racing here.
and then I think it was decided that she was referring to Road Rage.
Hmm.
she must not play that many video games. I'm surprised.
No, but it's a good game. It's like we don't have to get into it over and over again, but it's just
It's
it's an arcade game.
pick-upable.
It's
It's
pick up and
easily
play, and it's
pick-upable, but
enjoyable.
like,
It's fun and funny and colorful and familiar. All those things make it attractive to a lot of gamers and non-gamers or casual gamers. Really good product. I rest my case. Are
what
your
other?
guys' cases also rested, or is there any more arguments?
I think we can move on to closing statements.
All right then.
Well, that was basically mine.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say I think the most sophisticated game of these three is Twisted Metal Black. I think that's the important thing to note here. And while being sophisticated, it's not sophisticated for sophistication's sake. It's also fun. It's competitive. You want to try to take everyone out, and you want to beat it with every character. It has such longevity. With that, I mean, I got my year end PlayStation stats, and in my top 5 games, One of them was Twisted Metal Black, and it's just because you don't just pick up that game. I mean, I played it for the podcast, but I mean, I could have just played a run as one character, roadkill, average character, and just gotten everything I needed from that. But I played as Mr. Grimm and beat it. I played as Darkseid and beat it. And, I plan to periodically go back and play with other characters. I don't know. I just think it's very good. It's sad that it doesn't exist anymore. It's sad that like entries after that were made poorly to kind of leave a bad legacy of Twisted Metal or the Twisted Metal series. So really the last holdout of good Twisted Metal games was Twisted Metal Black. And if they do in the future make it again, I think Twisted Metal Black will be the blueprint that they follow. Just a fun game. So I think it should win this category.
I'll go. So I think Star Fox 64 is really out of the group anyway, it's the premier single player experience, which all of these games really were. I mean, there was multiplayer in all of them, but those weren't really how people were playing these games. There's just a ton of replay value, figuring out how to unlock the all the different levels in the game. Um, be it some hidden path or achieving some kind of high score. And then, the game also has, the hit counters so that you constantly have a high score to try and best yourself. And then just, like I said throughout the episode, the game, like, it lives up today and um, you know, was an iconic game that led to a lot of other great things that are related to it. And, it was like a trailblazer for the N64 and for Nintendo down the line. So, yeah, I think it's clearly the winner.
All right, Pete, anything to add? Or are you good?
I'll just say real quick since you guys gave a long closing statement. Something I kind of touched on earlier, but it really honestly did take Crazy Taxi, which was a really successful, fun little game, and they added some things to it. They added The Simpsons to it, and so what you have is a slightly more fun, slightly less little game. It's just good, fun arcade game. So I'll leave the listeners with that.
All right, so listeners, we'd love to get your opinion on this, like we do with our Brodown episodes. Hit us up on Instagram or X, or wherever you get this podcast, wherever you can leave a comment and let us know which of these three games you think should win. Both could be based on our argument, could be based on your experience with the game, whatever it is. Let us know, and we'd love to share that and get some stats on what people like as far as these three games in this category. The other thing I'll say is if you want to kind of leave it at that, you can turn off the episode now. We'll wait about 10 seconds, and then Pete, Tom, and myself we'll give it a ranking, and then we'll tell you our like actual rankings, real basic. Uh, we're gonna rank the game, as we like it. So we don't want to tarnish your opinion if you want to just base it on what we've said so far in this episode. All right. Well, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, guys. I guess we would do. You want to go through what you would rank these games at?
Yeah, I'll go first. Pretty easy ranking this time for me. Twisted Metal Black is one of my favorite games of all time, so that would be one. Star Fox 64 is in the middle, a very good game, and then Simpsons Road Rage is last. Really not a very fun game.
So you made a convincing argument. You have
Thank you.
second career as an attorney.
I'm gonna go with the same ranking. Yeah, I think Twisted Metal Black is a terrific game. Star Fox 64 was really good too. It actually surprised me in a good way, though. Not like Simpsons Hit and Run. Um, Because yeah, I mean, I remember liking the game Star Fox 64. That is, but I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did when we replayed it. Um, and yeah, Simpsons Hit and Run just wasn't
Road
enough.
Rage, you mean?
Yeah, Simpsons Road Rage just was. They're both crap. I don't know.
All right. Um, so I'm gonna start the other way. I will say this before I give my ranking. If I had to just plop in a game between Simpsons Road Rage and Star Fox 64, I'd probably pop in Simpsons Road Rage over Star Fox 64.
Poppin' or ploppin'?
Yeah, either one. With that said, Simpsons Road Rage is the third slot for me. Um, Star Fox 64 is the second slot for me, and very easily Twisted Metal Black is the number one slot for me. So this week was a clean sweep. Our Brothers and Boss Battles ranking is Twisted Metal Black, the winner of our Brodown of non-racing vehicle games, with Star Fox 64 in the middle and Simpsons Road Rage bringing up the rear.
I don't think it's ever happened before where all three of us have the same ranking of
Yeah,
all
I
three
don't think
games.
not since we've done this new Brodown format, at least. Maybe ever, but certainly I don't think in this new format, which has been about like what, a year now. A
Yeah.
little less than yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, let us know your thoughts on these three games in this category, how you would rank them. We'd love to share that. And thank you for listening. Check us out in a couple of weeks where we will be doing a new category and the first episode of that new category, which we will not reveal at this point. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get this podcast. That will let you know when those episodes are released. Interact with us on X and Instagram, Twitch and YouTube at Bros Boss Battles. That's BROS Boss Battles. We did do our first Twitch stream the other day of Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the new Marvel beat 'em up that has come out, which is a lot of fun. We've even put up some of the audio on our main as a bonus level for our podcast, as well as some of the video on our YouTube. So go and check those out. We'd love to get your thoughts and check back for more streaming of games by the brothers soon. Take care, everyone. Till next time.